You know where the most people in Canada live? You probably guessed it, the southeastern region. It has the largest population per square kilometer than any other region and is simply the best. But to those few clowns who think otherwise, let me just show you. Southeastern climate is the warmest climate of all of Canada. Warm enough for non-jacket weather for some of the year, when most of Canada be looking like marshmallows whenever they walk out the door. Yes, I'm looking at you, Arctic. Sometimes the heat is too much, but would you prefer to be freezing to death with hypothermia or have just a bit of sweat? I thought so. The weather also lets us do activities outside in the summer, unlike some other regions with colder climates. Imagine playing soccer in snow pants with a jacket on. The precipitation in this region is moderate, not raining 24/7 like the Maritime, but also not dry like the prairies. The climate makes some vegetation be able to grow in this region and this region alone, like deciduous trees that are naturally found in this area. It's common knowledge to you all that the majority of Canada's population resides in Ontario, and the majority of the population in Ontario lives in the GTA, the southeastern part of it. Why, you may ask? Why not live in Nunavut? Well, that's too cold. Why not live in the prairies? Well, that's too dry. Why not live in the Pacific region? Well, there's too much rain. Why not live in the Cordilleran region? Too many mountains, and you can't build a house on the slope of a mountain. Well, the reason we all live in this area is because of the climate, but also the shape of the land. It's way easier to build on a flat land than the side of the mountain, and this area is pretty flat. We have glaciation to thank for that. The population size is huge in this area, and given that we are so close to our southern neighbor, we have lowest shipping costs, meaning that things like oils are cheaper here than places like Thunder Bay. Speaking about oil. Given that this region is so small, it doesn't have many natural resources to speak of, meaning that we import most of our needs from other parts of Canada. I mean, where are we going to find oil in this small of a space? And most of the deciduous trees that we use for hardwood have been cut down or fallen to disease or invasive insects. Most of the native animals in this region are becoming threatened due to the increase in human influence. An animal like the eastern rat snake is becoming a threatened species because its population is getting split up and isolated. So we need to do something to maintain sustainability in our native species. To do that, we need to enforce more nature reserves to protect our remaining species and have higher security on imports so not to let more invasive species into our environment. Even with all those problems, we still have a tourism industry and national parks in the region, with tourists coming into the fall to see the change of colors on the trees, and parks like Point Pelee to spend your summer camping there. And there are species only able to live in this region because of the climate and the lakes nearby. I guess everyone likes the heat.
The soil in this region is very rich and can grow a lot of vegetation because of the hot climate. It also has benefited from glaciation stopping in this region, making all the minerals come down to the southeast. Most of the things we grow gets exported and gives people in the southeastern region jobs of farming and exporting. It also provides recreation like apple picking, strawberry picking, cherry picking, and most other fruits and vegetables. Unlike the soils here, the soils of the Canadian Shield make it impossible to do any farming because of the super thin and rocky soils. The area of the Canadian Shield had very limited precipitation, meaning that the minerals don't dissolve and the plants can't grow. The tundra can't even grow any vegetation due to the permafrost.
With that being said, I think it's pretty obvious which region is superior. From the best climate to the best soil to the best everything. We have it all, and still improving. This is a premier place for people to live who are immigrating to Canada for the first time, and represents Canada on a global scale. For goodness sake, the leaf of our flag can only be found in this region. Apart from that, the southeastern region, the region we live in, is better than all the others for simply being warm. That's the most important part for me, and most likely for you too.